All right, leather inventory update. I'm going to try and do an exhaustive one. It's kind of, I want you to see and what's available and everything. This is a couple of blacks. This one has not been seen yet. This is a black calf. It's about 2.5 ounces. And it's a consistent grain is how I describe it. In other words, it's going to be all the way. And it's going to be considered soft, not very shiny. And I have this one that I showed the other day. And I apologize. I've dreamed up all kinds of ways to do this. And this is what seems to work best. This has a little more shine to it. This is very... I cut a piece to show you. Very much all of the bends. Every bend creates one of those. Well, if I could do it one-handed, every bend creates one of those. And when you fold your Bible over and back, those, I just finished one of these, and it'll be listed here in a few days. Actually, it'll be a week or two. But all these bends, it brings out all kinds of lines and character all over it. And they don't protrude until they've been bent once, and then there they are. And they leave a really unique feel when the Bible's open in your hand. I hope that's well explained. It's a rather thin leather, about 2 ounces, and very nice, but it has all that character. Some people like this, some people don't. I'm going to take a little pause here. All right, this is another black. I've had it in one video, and I've only done a couple of things in it. I have one that's coming up that is in this leather. A customer was in the shop and picked it out. When I first purchased it, I loved it because of the grain. And it has this on the back side. Well, you'd think that doesn't matter. Turns out it does. Very handsome leather, but this customer wanted green accents. And when I stitch this, there's a little protrusion along with the thread of this green that works its way through. And I was heartbroken when I saw that. So it is certainly, if a person wants a green and black Bible, it is ideal. I've got half a cow of that thing right there. All right, this is more of the calf, and this is the newer one that's on the, just started using. I've actually got my first order in this for a Bible and a journal. It's a calf. On the website, I believe we call it caramel, crackled caramel or something like that. Has a lot of wonderful grain in it. Light brown, consistent throughout with that pattern. And it's a very good exterior. Apologies. This is my fire engine red. I've only done a couple of things in it. Fire engine red. Some of it tones down a little more than that. And it's a good exterior. But not everybody's cup of tea. This is our blue calf that I still have a fair amount of. Makes for a good exterior. Blue. And there's a distinction because this one we call slate blue. Very thin. Usually the thinner, the more supple. This is certainly the case. In other words, for a very soft in hand, limp, more limp than firm. And that's a slate blue. And then we've got that, I get my pinks and my lavenders mixed up. I'm missing something up there. That's a pink, yeah. That's a very soft pink. But now I'm questioning myself. Yes, that's a soft pink because I got leather everywhere. This is a soft and supple lavender. Do you see my dilemma? They're not that far off, are they? Had this red for some time. Still have quite a bit of that. This yellow, I use a lot of it for liners mostly, but it's suitable for the exterior. I have another half a cow up there. And then this is that green that I've done quite a few in. It would be a darker green leather. And I'm trying to call them up as I recall the video, the order form. But if there's any question, just ask me. But forest green, I believe that is. And I'm going to pause one more time and pull out all of the pull-ups. And I found a few more that I don't even think this one's on the website, to tell you the truth. It is I would call it a rosewood, the color comes to mind for me, and it is a calf. Has a lot. It's a very soft, a little thicker, so it winds up being a little softer in the hand as far as the Bible. And I'm going to write down and put rosewood on the website. And really handsome. And there's a fair amount of that right there. And that's a calf. And then I have a little bit of this calf here. I've done quite a few things in it. And it's, well, you know, I should have had my wife out here with me when I was making this, huh? It's that color right there. Calf. And there's enough there for a couple of Bibles. And that's the remainder of the calves. Oops, I said I was doing pull-up, didn't I? We'll come back to that. This is some of the goat, russet. Have a fair amount of that. Midnight blue, goat. And then navy blue, just slightly lighter. Have a few of the, I think that's the whole roll right there. Brown goat. And I've done a handful of them in this, I think it's called Battleship Gray on the website. A little firmer one. And this is one of the, I have several, I believe it's called Cordovan goat. And I've got this white goat. And I've got a handful of those hides, to tell you the truth. Now we'll look at the pull-ups to wrap up the exterior leathers. All right, I had to look at the website to refresh my memory. These are pull-ups, and I'm going to use some words to describe them. The pull-ups have the take on every scratch, and then they rub right out. And I'm going to describe them as, well, let me just explain. This is a tan on the website. It's a light tan pull-up. It has very little of that, but it does have some. It'll change when you push on it and things. This is listed as a pull-up brown, tan brown. And it has a lot heavier pull-up. And again, I get a lot of people that really want the more pull-up, the better. And you can see like that mar I just put there. And it rubs out. And there'll be a slight fade there. And every time you do that, it takes on some character. This is a blue pull-up. It has light qualities. It doesn't mar near as easy. And I've done a couple of those now. This is listed on the website as brown gray. And it has a fair amount of that, but not so much. And this one is the most extreme as far as look at that. Showed up through there. This is a real thin leather. There's something underneath there. And but it's got I call it army green on the website. And I'm trying my best to give you a representation of the color here. And it is, it would just about be an oil tan. I mean, it takes up, see if I can do this one-handed. You see the shade of green? Man, it's hard to do one-handed. I usually use a tripod, and I can't do that and show you that. See how that changes as you go down through there? It has a lot of it, and I think I have my first order coming up in this. If I'm not mistaken. But these are the pull-ups, and they have a tendency to be a little different every time I order them. And this is what came in the mix in this one. Now we're going to move to some interiors. Hang on a second here. Alrighty. This is the majority of the interiors. Now, as I just mentioned before, most anything can be used for an interior. It's just that these are the most suitable for it. Not all of these are good for exterior, but some can go both ways. And the reason it's, the thin and flexible is the preference, because this makes the hinge that when the Bible lays over, if it has a problem laying flat, it's usually because it's too thick or not very pliable. Now, when I use the thicker ones, I skive them down and thin them down. It's not usually an issue. But the predominant is the black interior. These are both sheep. They're technically different. I've never differentiated on the order form, but they're both black sheep. Not a lot of noticeable difference. I have just a few more of these brown sheep, very thin and suitable for, I don't think it'd be the best for a big boy Bible, but regular size and down would be suitable. This is one I just started carrying. It's a sheep. What color did I call that? Dun, dun, dun. Goat, no. Sheep. Calf, no. She wrote down calf, but it's not calf, it's sheep. Sandy stone, I think is what we decided to call that. And this is some of the brick red sheep. Makes a very good liner. See, what makes it best liner? It's sturdy enough that it holds the text block very well, and yet pliable enough that it folds over well as far as the hinge. And I'll try to explain that here in a minute. I have a lot of this bright red, and then the brick red. This is a sheep. I just pulled one out. This is listed as the copper, and it's almost a metallic. I've done several in it. I think my wife's has done in that, if I'm not mistaken. And this is, I don't think it's ever been listed. It's a tan sheep, very, very close to the tan goat that I use. Technically, this is a little bit better liner. This is a little thicker. And a lot of times, the combinations of leather will give different effects. For example, this inside of a soft exterior is going to be extremely pliable, whereas this one's a little more rigid, the way the exterior is finished, and it's not going to be quite as soft and pliable. I need to make a video explaining that, tell you the truth, and I want to show you just briefly what the difference is that I've been talking about. No idea what I just pulled down. This is a reject from many moons ago. This is the hinge. The text block sits inside of here, and when I refer to the hinge, it lays back. So the thinner, the more pliable, thinner yet sturdy, is the best. Again, any of them can be made to work, but a lot of times when you make something to work, you give up a little something. And these are the majority of the interiors. I have umpteen number of leathers. Most of this I have shown you. There are just a few pile of interiors down here. For instance, that kind of a grungy yellow is not even on there, but I have 4 or 5 hides of it. Some of this stuff is very thin, but suitable for like a thin line Bible. There's some, when people come in my store, sometimes they are a long time perusing all the different leathers. And then as we go up to most of that is exteriors. And then I keep the goat down just below those tubs. And when I order leather, it comes in these various boxes based on how much I order. Sometimes I'm more excited about the box because I get to compartmentalize. I got boxes inside of boxes that break down and give me storage areas, but now I've done gone to babbling. So that's going to do it, and I hope it's helpful. A lot of people, I answer a lot of questions, and I send a lot of pictures when people say, can you show me what you have in this, that, or the other? I always refer to the video. I try and keep them brief as possible. But if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. Lord bless you.